welcome to a brand new edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh, and today I'll be joined by two voices that are going to help me discuss the most talked about sports story in 2022 and the sports event that has the world's attention here in the beginning of 2023. We'll also talk New Year's plans, goals, and I'll begin to share a little about a movie project that I'm creating. So you guys already know what to do. Turn it up and let's get the first show of 2023 rolling with an all-new episode right here on the It's All Relative podcast. Hope all you listeners out there had a safe and happy New Year's. If you made a resolution, I hope it's not broken yet. But let me get my two guests on. First, welcome back, Angela Galente.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And Marcus McCray.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, my man. Thank you both for joining me today to discuss some of these events that have taken place. But first, let me start with you, Marcus. It's been a minute. How's everything been with you since the last time you were here, bro?
Everything's been good. I can't complain. I was just taking everything one day at a time.
My man, that's what we got to do, right?
Exactly.
And Angela, how's everything with you?
Good.
Good?
Everything's good.
Everything since the last time you were here?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you both real quick. Either of you make any New Year's resolutions, goals, any change of some sort you're adding or taking away from your personal lives?
I'm planning on having more family dinners.
Okay.
I have not broken it yet.
Nice.
We haven't started either, so we're on a...
Okay. Right on. I got you. What about you, Marcus?
Nah, nothing crazy. You know, everything is just consistency. So just keeping it machine in motion the way it's been.
My man. Let me ask you guys, how long do you both think it takes for the average person to abandon their New Year's resolution?
8 days.
8 days? What about you, Marcus? What do you say?
I said 3 weeks.
3 weeks? So, according to an article in the New York Post, okay, a poll of 2,000 Americans showed, a poll of 2,000 Americans showed, that it takes just about 32 days for the average person to break their resolution, okay? And 68% reported giving up their resolutions even sooner than that. So
I guess I have less faith in humankind than I thought.
No, I actually thought that too. When I looked that up, I thought that most people usually break their resolutions within the first week or so of making them. But I mean,
so have you ever kept a resolution you made?
Me, I don't do that. I've never. I can't recall of ever making resolutions because
any goals, nothing.
I mean, I set goals.
Resolution. I mean, New Year goals. Like,
I set goals for myself throughout the year. So like, I don't specifically like on New Year's have something, that like I want to do. I will say this though, that since it is a new year, and what you always make New Year's resolutions?
No, I don't always, but I mean, I try to make new goals or improvements to my old goals.
I feel you. I mean, I feel like I do that too. Just
I made a New Year's resolution to quit smoking once, and I actually stuck to it. It's only because I told everybody I was going to do it, and then I felt like I had to.
That's awesome, though.
And I quit for 2 years.
Good for you. But yeah, for those that have resolutions, keep them going. But I will quickly say that, as the New Year's has approached, I didn't necessarily set a New Year's resolution, but I kind of wanted to have a brighter outlook, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming into the new year, and, we talked off mic, I don't want to get too into it, but within the first few days of the new year, my life was blessed with some new changes, so, I mean, I'm going to see how that goes and whatnot, but I'm excited about all that. So, but all right, let's move on to the most talked about sports story of 2022. You both know what it is. That's why you guys are here. Brittney Griner. Okay? Lots of people have had many opinions about her and what she went through. You both are familiar with who she is and her story and her imprisonment in Russia. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So let me ask you then. Either of you want to share what you know about her and the events that took place? Like, break it down for me and the listeners. Marcus, we'll start with you.
So, just the way everything happened was so crazy because it was like the U.S. team was flying back from Russia from having whatever games they had out there.
Mm-hmm.
And she got caught in the airport. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't even like she had a pack on her. It was just like she had the pen.
Mm-hmm.
And they took her into custody and just kept her. Like, nobody knew what happened.
Yeah, crazy. What about you, Angela? You want to add to that, or is that basically the same thing that you've heard and read? Or
so was she going from Russia to America, or was she going to Russia? Right? I thought she was going to Russia. Did I misunderstand that?
They were coming back, right?
I don't remember exactly what.
Well, either way, like it was just a small amount of like oil,
mm-hmm.
like the little pens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just, I don't know, convenient of it for like political reasons. I don't know. It just seemed suspicious to me. But a little bit, she was held.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew. Yeah.
Right. So let's go back a little. For those of the listeners that may not know or don't know exactly what we're talking about, she's a professional basketball player. She plays or played, I'm not too sure, but for the Phoenix Mercury. She is a 6-time WNBA All-Star, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist with the U.S. women's national basketball team. And on February 17th, 2022, Griner was arrested on smuggling charges by Russian customs officials after she was found carrying cartridges containing less than a gram of medically prescribed hash oil.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Now, she pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Okay, once again, for a very little amount of hash oil. But on December 8th, she was released in a prisoner exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. Now, let me ask both of you, all right? Why do you think she was treated the way she was? Angela, you had previously you said maybe because of the whole thing. I don't know if you were referring to like the whole timing of everything with Russia and Ukraine and America and all that shit. But I mean, is there you guys got another opinion or thought maybe why she was treated the way she was?
For me, it's all politics. Like because you think about Russia itself, there's rules, but there's no rules. Like you could just do whatever you want as long as you know the right people or whatever. People turn a blind eye to everything, the police and everything. So it's like just the timing of it, like she said, and then what they were able to get back in return. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's scary.
Like worst trade in WNBA history.
Yeah. So then let me ask you then both. Do you guys agree with her punishment or what she went through?
No. I think that's a separate issue though.
Okay, well expand on that a little.
I'm for pot, medical usage, recreational. I'm all for it. I don't think that 9 years in prison for that I don't think it fits the crime. I mean, she knew what she was doing, yeah, but it's pot. It's not cocaine. It's not heroin. It's pot.
I completely understand. I will share my opinion too, but I mean, just remember, it's an illegal substance still in Russia.
Yes, and she knew that, so I understand that there was a crime. But 9 years? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 9 years is a little extreme, right?
Completely.
Marcus, you agree?
Because I think she just ended up being a casualty of war. She just ended up being in the middle of whatever
She was just
bigger
a pawn
picture there
in
was.
this little game.
Yeah, I do think that, like you had addressed earlier, Angela, the timing of this whole thing was very unfortunate because of the shit that America was dealing with Russia and Ukraine. But throughout the year, she was detained in Russia. What were some opinions that you guys heard or read that people were saying, if any? You guys recall anything, or?
As far as what, like her treatment over there, or
People in general,
Just
their
around
responses. Yeah, their responses
I think
about
the
him.
response was pretty strong. I mean, to like get the ball rolling to, I don't know, get her out of there, more
Okay.
focus on her, like to, I don't know.
Okay.
I
Marta?
feel like that kind of like gave Russia some, hey, we got something here.
I heard a lot of people on both sides. You get the people who are like, oh, well, she committed a crime, da da da. And then you got the other people like, find a way to bring her home. Like it's stupid, and no matter which way you tip the scale, that it plays into something bigger, which we've seen with the outcome of the situation. So,
Yeah. I too saw a lot of opinions for both sides. All right, which was a little shocking too, because I some of these people I talk with on a daily basis, and some of them really were one of those people that that showed that kind of hate or their opinion about the fact that she should just stay there, or that she committed a crime. She got caught. She got locked up. Like, that's, oh well. And then there was the other side of, people really rallying behind her and making a statement and saying, that shit's a little ridiculous, and we need to try to get her back home. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you both. Do you think the hate that she received, do you think it comes from who she is and what she represents? Now, what I mean by that real quick is that she is an openly gay and involved in bringing more attention to the LGBT community. She supports, all that. And she also took a big stand about or against the national anthem being played in sports events or at sports events. We all saw and remember another individual who wanted to make a stand or take a knee and to prove a point involving this national anthem. Now, do you think her opinions and the things, that she stood for, do you think that added to maybe some of the hate and the negative, responses that she received?
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I think she received a lot of hate behind it, but I think that's also a reason why she got a lot of support also. Because you look at how big those movements are, just in this country alone, not even on a global scale. A lot of the older generation or the old heads, that's where she's going to get the hate from as far as her stances. What? That's with everything. She falls into almost every BLM and the LGBTQ and all of that. She falls into that, and she's been actively supporting all of that as well. So I think that's a big reason why she was brought home as well.
Agreed.
She makes statements. I believe. I'm not 100% because I don't know if it still applies now that she's back and went through everything. But I do know that she was very coveted by Nike. Nike swooped her up, you know what I'm saying? And she was trying to break that whole boundary. Like, I had seen she would rock and wear men's Nike clothes, like it's normal, like it's nothing, and they're trying to make... not separate, you know what I'm saying? Like female clothes and male clothes. Like, she was making a statement, you know what I'm saying? And for people like that make statements and are okay with it, I think a lot of hate comes with that because people are scared and may not understand. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? But let me give you guys my opinion real quick about some of the stuff that she went through. I thought it was wrongfully handled. Okay, and I do agree though. Could the time have had something to do? Like with Russia and Ukraine and U.S. Like we said. Yeah, probably. But the time that she was originally sentenced, the 9 years for a cart that was prescribed to her, that 9 years thing was fucking outrageous, in my opinion. I do want to kind of touch on a little of what you said, Angela, because the hash oil or any cannabis shit or whatever, I guess, it is illegal in Russia, right? But not saying that she didn't commit a crime, but people who use cannabis, you know what I'm saying? If they're prescribed something, it doesn't even have to be cannabis. If you're prescribed a medicine and you use that shit on a daily basis and you travel somewhere, you not necessarily, or maybe I shouldn't say you, me. I would not necessarily think about, oh, maybe that shit's illegal here because it's part of my everyday life. I use it. It's like medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like we could apply it to like vitamins. If I take certain supplements and then I go to somewhere else and it happens to be illegal there, I would not have even thought about it because it's my daily usage. You know what I'm saying? So,
but like when you travel, there's like a form that you could fill out that has like if you're on any specific medications, things like that. If you're bringing a substance across, as long as it's not over a certain amount, you can do that. So that's another thing. I don't know all the details of her travel and all that stuff, but like even just little stuff like that, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like especially she had like less than a gram. It's crazy.
Less than a gram, and not to call you, put anyone on blast or anything, but Angela, you had pulled out your pen a little earlier, and I was gonna mention
blast me
that little cart, right? Less than that. You know what I'm saying? Like
well, that is a gram size.
Yeah, and she had less than a gram.
But here's my question, and maybe I don't know the rules and the laws. But, like, when I am traveling on an airplane, I can't bring it with me, can I?
Is it prescribed?
Well, no. I guess that's the reason.
That's what I'm saying. That plays a big factor into it because it's not like she's using it. All right, I mean, it wasn't like she was using it recreationally or trying to. I feel like
But she was hiding it per se.
I mean, they said that it was found in her
wasn't
luggage.
Documented. Like, I guess you said you can fill out.
Yeah, like if I
paperwork.
travel, I document my medications. But also, like I've traveled and I've been detained before coming across the border. So that's when I learned, like, okay, maybe I should take all these steps.
Where was that at?
Canada. I was leaving Canada coming back to the United States, and the U.S. detained me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
they
crazy.
tore my car apart. Like.
And that's the other thing. They were going into Russia or coming into America. Like that's where.
I think actually they were going into Russia because it said that she had gotten. She was arrested on smuggling charges by Russian customs. So I'm assuming that she was going into Russia, right? Because you wouldn't be. If she was coming back.
Was it attached to the battery or was it unattached to the battery? These are questions that I would have.
I mean, that I can't answer, but I mean, I don't know. I don't
not
think.
A gun. It doesn't matter.
I don't think.
Isn't it?
I don't think that would make too much of a difference.
Well, I know I had to keep like my pen in my person. Like, you can't put it in your luggage and have it go underneath the plane. That's a rule for when you go on an airplane. You have to keep it on your person. If like the carts were separate, I don't know.
That's crazy because like when I fly with
much.
alcohol, they want me to put it in my luggage and keep it under the plane. Like
really?
Yeah.
Something with those batteries, like
that makes
they always
sense.
told me they have to be on your person. So I would just take the cart part off The one time.
Right.
I'm gonna shut up right now. Shut up.
You're good. But I don't know. I let me ask you both this then, because we can kind of wrap up this little section real quick. But I want to end it by asking if this were to happen to a male athlete or a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant or a Steph Curry, would they have gone through all the shit that Brittney Griner faced? Your opinions. Would those people, or you know what I'm saying, 9 years?
I don't think that they would be bold enough to even attempt to take one of them in, because Brittney Griner is big on a national level, not on a global level per se. So it only affects the United States, what the United States is kind of going through with those movements. You take a LeBron James, best basketball player in the world, arguably the best basketball player of all time. Same thing with Kevin Durant, arguably the second best player
right.
in the NBA, which is a global sport. They're not going to even do that because they're going to have problems with their own country. So I don't think they would attempt to do that. I do feel like if they did do that, it would have just been like an all-out war probably to start. Like I feel like there would have been deeper consequences. But I also do feel like it has, and I don't care about the politics either way, but who is in the leadership position as far as the United States. The relationship with Russia and our former president isn't the same as it is currently. So
correct.
There's a lot of different advantages. I feel like it's like when your kid comes up to you and asks you something knowing you're tired. And you're just like, yeah, whatever, just do whatever. I feel like it's something like that. So
okay. Angela?
I'm unsure.
You're unsure? What do you think if it was a male athlete or another famous?
I don't think it would.
Do you think they would have faced and gone through the same shit?
Probably not.
No.
They knew it would not have had the same effect, so to speak.
I don't know. I've heard arguments and whatnot about it could kind of boil down to some of the equality stuff. I know there's been a lot of talk with pay rights and the pay between NBA players and WNBA players. And because the WNBA players make so little, such a small amount, that they have to go and play overseas on the off seasons to make money.
I did read that.
Yeah. And this is why you could say,
So what is that small amount?
I don't know the correct numbers, but I shouldn't say small. It's probably a significant amount, significant difference.
There's a NBA player that makes more than the entire WNBA combined.
I read those statistics.
So,
they make
I forgot who. There's a WNBA player that went on a podcast and was talking about the whole revenue thing, and it was like very similar to the situation with women's soccer and like how it was a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not, like it sucks, but it's not men's fault that happened. Like
right.
And then they understand that the revenue is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like.
But I saw those numbers. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. When your game only brings in not even half a stadium, and the NBA games sell out. You can't expect to get paid the same. But I think their bigger issue was like the endorsement deals and things like that.
Right.
Like a lot of the other revenue that NBA players are getting that they're not getting. Like they understand, hey, we don't bring in as much as a league, so we're not gonna make as much. But jersey sales, the percentage that LeBron James is getting from a jersey sale as opposed to Skylar Diggins or something like that. Like there's a discrepancy there. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it has to do with their collective bargaining agreement. They need to do better on that end with whatever agreement that they make. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that was the most talked about sports event or story of this past year, 2022. You guys got anything else that you'd like to add about it?
I'm happy she's home. Like, despite all the jokes and stuff that we make about the deal and all that stuff.
Right.
Don't wish prison on anybody, especially not overseas. So
we
definitely
did
happy.
We did get shitted on the deal, but if think about it, if it was you or me or him or any of our family members, like, you know,
They would have been like, serve your country.
What prices do we put on a life, really, in the end? So
you're
that's
right.
how I see it.
I mean, I do think it's a good way then too to end this segment then too. I agree with you, Marcus. I'm glad she's home. I thought it was the right decision for her to be brought home. And I'm glad she didn't have to do the whole 9 years and whatnot, because that shit was absolutely ridiculous. But let's take a quick break, all right? And when we come back, we'll dive into the event that happened 2 days into the new year that has the world watching, talking, and praying, as well as a little sneak peek into a movie that is being created by yours truly. So make sure you come back with us right here on the It's All Relative podcast.
Boom in the game now, shit's the same now. Explode next mode, I'm the same how. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you see me sliding off to another crib. Boom in the game now, I'm the same how. The rap game will never be the same now. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you hear Y.O., say that's that shit.
Welcome back to It's All Relative. Still with me in studio, Marcus McCray and Angela Galente. Now, January 2nd, 2023, second day into the new year. Monday Night Football game between the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. Let me ask you, were either of you watching this game?
No.
No, I was working.
Okay. But I mean, obviously, you guys have seen what we're about to talk about many times, I'm sure.
Yes.
But so for the listeners who may not have seen or don't know, you know what I'm saying, what we're talking about. But shortly after the start of the game, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin makes a strong tackle, appeared to have definite contact to the chest area. He then bounces up after the tackle and then falls backwards, limp straight to the ground. Now, injuries are a part of the game, right? But I've never in my life seen something like this, right? Can either of you recall a time? Have you guys ever seen something like this happen in any sporting event?
Not that was specifically the heart.
Okay. No?
No.
Yeah. Let me ask you, though, real quick, because this incident did remind me of a movie, just a different sport. But are either of you familiar with the movie called The Sixth Man?
Yes.
Yeah. Angela?
No, I've
No.
never heard of it.
It's older. It's 97. Came out in 1997. Marlon Wayans and... let me see, Kadeem Hardison. But similar situation happened where only they were brothers and whatnot, and one died of a heart attack while playing. But let me ask you real quick, Marcus, being that you've played the game of football at a high competitive level, can you try and talk to us? I don't know, maybe explain a little of what went on or what you analyzed or felt when you saw the initial play and then what had happened?
So when I saw the play itself, it was just a routine tackle. It wasn't a crazy hit by T. Higgins. Like, it was just, shoulder into his chest and, go down to the ground to get back up. And then he stumbled and he hit the ground. So I thought it was like a concussion. We saw it with Tua, a few weeks back where he got up, stumbled, and then fell.
Same field, I believe, too, right? Same team?
Yeah. It's just that Bengals, just Cincinnati, I guess. But, I thought it was a concussion. And then they start resuscitating him and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But there's this thing where, like, you get hit. And the first thing that went through my head when I saw that is there's this thing when you get hit in your chest, your heart stops, or you go into, have cardiac arrest and stuff like that. I just couldn't remember what it was called. Mm-hmm. And so then, people were talking about, it's the vaccine and all that stuff. But then I saw a different podcast and they were talking about it's commotio cordis, which is if your heart is in a regular beat, or it has a certain pattern, and when it hits right before the apex, so that if you get hit at the same time in the chest, it'll send you into cardiac arrest. Very rare, and you'll see it more in baseball from like taking a pitch to the chest or a line drive to the chest or something like that.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, to be able to hit that exact spot, that's wild. I mean, everyone who is watching the game, or has watched the clip of the incident, we're pretty much witnessing someone die right in front of their eyes. Damar Hamlin did suffer cardiac arrest, but Angela, let me ask you, what were your first reactions or thoughts when you saw or heard about what had happened?
So I watched the video of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he made the tackle, he got up, and then he stumbled backwards. And that's what I thought when, he got hit and it stopped. That's the first thing that I thought of. Because it does happen more often than you think. And maybe not just in sports, but in everyday life. People get hit in that right spot and it stops their heart. So that's what I was thinking when it happened. But again, I watched it after the fact, and I also had other, information.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like I didn't watch it live or going in as a sports fan, particularly.
Well, right now, I believe most recent news was that his breathing tube has been removed and neurologic function remains intact. He has been able to talk to his family. Do you both think that when this happened on the 2nd, that the teams, the medical staff, the NFL, everyone involved in the whole situation, do you think that the situation itself was handled correctly?
From an outside point of view, I think it was. It did look like, it was pretty immediate medical attention, and, I think he got pretty good care. But again, outsider point of view, I didn't really.
Right. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I think it was handled correctly. I think that a lot of the people that feel like it wasn't handled correctly are probably going to be Bills fans because it did mess up their playoff seeding. Mm-hmm. As far as what happened with the gameplay itself, the game being suspended and then later canceled and go into percentages. So since Kansas City won today, Buffalo is the number 2 seed, which sucks for them, but just is what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, you just touched it real quick. But what do you guys feel about them when this incident happened? When they decided not to finish the game? Good call.
You can't finish that game.
I thought it was pretty respectful. I thought it was a respectful call. I'm assuming there was hate over that. Is that what I'm getting from this?
No, I was just asking your opinion because, I feel. We'll probably touch on it a little later, but I feel like this incident has brought the world or everyone a little closer. But most recently, the NFL decided that they weren't even going to reschedule the game itself. So, in that, good call.
It didn't matter either way, did it?
No, the game did.
Playoffs?
Before, we're recording this now. When this drops, everyone will be able to see. But currently, as we're speaking, there are games being played right now that do have implications, which Marcus referred to before with Kansas City and whatnot winning earlier. But the game, Buffalo and Cincinnati game, did have some kind of play, like maybe home field or something.
Home field, Buffalo, if they won that game, then they would have had the home field advantage, which you don't want to go into Buffalo in the winter.
Facts.
Yeah. So that kind of screws them over, especially if they do end up meeting Kansas City, in the divisional, which, just my prediction, they won't. But
for real?
Yeah. I got Cincinnati back to the Super Bowl.
Do you?
Joe Shiesty, yeah.
Okay. Yo, you heard it first here on It's All Relative, if that happens. But the world's been praying for this man and his family, and let's hope he continues to heal. the number 3 itself is hitting differently now, and Buffalo and the world are doing the right thing by showing their love and support to this man. I did read a quote that for some reason, it always seems to choke me up a little. It's a little emotional, but it was Damar's first words when he regained consciousness, and he said, quote, or he had asked, who won the game? And his doctor answered, quote, you did, you've won the game of life, which I don't know why, but I think that was such a powerful interaction. And still, I can't even explain it. Maybe it's just from the view of, like, I can understand that being a question from an athlete, and being such an important game. But then the response from the medical staff or the doctor, that it was beautiful, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I do know that a few hours ago, Damar Hamlin released his first public statement since the incident. I should have gotten it. I didn't actually. Let me real quick. I'm sorry. Because I thought it was pretty dope. But so a few hours ago, his first public statement on his Instagram account since this incident, it says, when you put real love out into the world, it comes back to you 3 times as much. The love has been overwhelming, but I'm thankful for every single person that prayed for me and reached out. We brung the world back together behind this. If you know me, you know this only gonna make me stronger. On a long road, keep praying for me. Which is dope. You know what I'm saying? I think that's awesome.
So is he talking now? And
yeah, he's
nice.
He's talking, responding to family, and like I said, that was and responding to medical staff. But that was his first, I guess, interaction to the world, and that happened a few hours ago. But let me ask you real quick, Marcus, the future of the NFL in regards to so many injuries and incidences, like this. Give me your opinion on that.
So I'm torn because obviously player safety is a huge factor in any sport that is being played now. Especially with how progressively better the sports have gotten, how much faster, how much stronger these athletes are getting, and things like that. I feel like eventually it's gotta regress at some point. It's gonna change the flag. Like if we look at the Pro Bowl, it's flag now, which is cool, but
I'll be the one to say that the Pro Bowl, like the flag shit, that's because you're right. I mean, I understand. Like you shouldn't. It's a Pro Bowl, so you're not trying to do them hard tackles and stuff. But like, I don't know, man. I agree. Like, I don't know. Like the game has changed so much. The stuff with not being able to. I mean, you can't even touch the quarterback no more.
Yeah, as a defensive back, like all these rules to protect the offensive player. Mm-hmm. Kind of like we understand it, but I feel like a lot of it just comes back down to fundamentals.
Right, like we mentioned earlier, injuries are obviously a huge part of this game.
Exactly.
Head injuries being a huge thing. I know the thing that the incident with Damar Hamlin was his chest, but we've heard and seen so many different incidences with people with head injuries or concussions. I don't know. Off the top of your guys' head, can you think of anybody that you heard or remember that had an head injury and
I think the biggest for me right now is Tua, because whether he's on his 3rd concussion right now this season,
right,
he might be done. So
like the long lasting effects of the head injuries, like let's talk real quick. Let's just bring him. We don't have to go into too much detail, but Angela, you familiar with the name Antonio Brown?
No.
No. Marcus, I know you are.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Unique individual, right? I don't know. Hit too many times in the head, too many concussions.
Yeah. Just speaking on concussion experience, because of the multiple concussions I've had, you start to see the effects. You slow down mentally a little bit. You know, you're foggy. All the stuff that they tell you is true. That hit from Vontae Burfict, that when they were playing Cincinnati, and that was like that big concussion he took. Like, I think that might have been the one to knock it
over. Yeah. Which is scary how it affects your lives. You guys have seen or heard of, you familiar with the name Aaron Hernandez? You ever seen the doc on Netflix about what he did, I guess, or what had happened? But being hit or going through, suffering so many concussions definitely affects your brain. It changes the whole pattern of a lot of things. And, you know, I'm no doctor, so I don't know too much about any of that stuff. But you can obviously see a big change in people's behavior.
It's taken very seriously in youth sports.
Right. Marcus, you being that you've played football, talk to us real quick about some of the what injuries have you endured?
So going down the list, broken fingers, fractured ankle, tearing my Achilles, blew both my knees out, partial tear in my quad, 9 concussions.
Damn.
So don't let your kids play football.
Only 2 of my concussions have been from football, though, but I have to say all 9 of them. So, but I think the football ones have been the worst. But you get hurt, like, it just comes with the sport, and you know that when you go into it. We play the sport since we're 4 or 5 years old. We watch the games every week. So the risks that comes with it. It's just, I feel like the fans have more to do with the way the injuries are being perceived now, outside of the concussion thing, obviously.
Well, bringing it back real quick to the incident with Damar Hamlin, I know that listeners, I'm sure that you have many of your own thoughts and opinions, and if you do, get at me, let me know. You can send in questions to the show. But I saw hundreds of people talking about this when it happened, so I would, I'd love to hear everybody's opinions and thoughts out there. I guess I would like to say, in my opinion, about the whole Damar Hamlin thing and how it looks like it's turning out. I guess the the power of prayer, I guess, really does help, in some degree or some level, because the world has been like he had said, brought together by this incident. It was so shocking. Something that you would never expect, and like we said, this being obviously we're only a week into the new year, but this being the most talked about sports event that has happened thus far. So, you guys got anything else that you would like to say about this incident or about Damar Hamlin? Or
I also want to say shout out to T. Higgins, because mentally as a player, like it already going through your head when you just injure somebody on the field. You're like, oh man, it's this career. Like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, XYZ. But you hit somebody and they think he died, and you got to sit there for like 15 minutes and watch them resuscitate him and just see how his life's been flipped around.
That's heavy. That's a lot of weight.
So to come back from seeing that as a receiver, a lot of people just wouldn't even want to play anymore. So, shout out to him for how he's handling it. Obviously, I don't think he's made a statement yet, or maybe if he did, he just did. But hopefully he can keep his head through the playoffs and everything on a professional level and just in general. in life.
Yeah, facts. Like you had mentioned too, and I'm sure I know it's been stated, but about that hit, about anything, there was nothing illegal done by it. It was a legal play, nothing dirty, nothing foul from the offensive player or defensive player. It just literally that small percentage of this, of the
And
incident
there's no
happening.
Conclusive reason, like no conclusive reason yet. Like, just
I don't. I
say
mean,
it.
I don't know. I mean, he got hit right in that. That's
right in that spot.
Mm-hmm. So, Angela, you got anything else that you would like to say about this?
No, I just send my prayers to him and his family. Fast recovery.
Yeah, facts. Do you guys think he'll ever play football again? Or do you think that's... I mean, I'm sure that's on his mind, but maybe it's the wrong time to ask that because it's focusing on just continually getting better and healing. But as a player, him being a player, I'm sure that thought has crossed his mind.
I wouldn't blame him if he did not. I would not blame him whatsoever. That would scare me to not play again.
What about you, Marcus? What do you think? You think he'll ever play again, or?
I think he will. I think it's more of a mental decision than a physical decision. Obviously, you can. It's a harder chance for it.
Right? He's 24.
Yeah, he's 24.
That's young.
Yeah, so
That
there's
is
a
young.
lot ahead of him as well. So I think, and just even seeing his reaction when he first came to, like, did we win, or who won or whatever. Like, that says just a lot about his mental state.
Right.
Him hopping on his team practices via FaceTime, even though he still had the tool in his throat. That shows a lot where his head is, So,
Definitely a
hopefully,
lot of passion.
I would love to see him back out there. There's a lot of steps that have to come before that.
Yeah,
Not even just on a fan level, but just like on just this being such a crazy situation.
Right.
Just to see him come out on top and resume his NFL career.
Yeah, what a great story, right? The world would be watching, and the world would love that. That would be a perfect ending to a pretty wild story, right? But before we end today, I just wanted to start spreading the word that I've gotten together an extremely talented team together, and we have been in the process of creating a movie. Now, what I'm asking those of you who are listening, if you are interested in being a part of this film, I'm looking for people who would want to audition for roles. I also have spots to fill for people behind the camera as well. But, if you'd like to be a part of something that could have much potential, please contact me because we are looking to fill roles immediately. But if anyone also has any questions, don't hesitate. Get at me and I'll gladly expand more with more detail. But I just can't say too much on the air right now until the movie begins to start filming. But Marcus, I want to thank you for agreeing to come back on It's All Relative. I greatly appreciate it, bro.
Thank you for having me again.
No doubt,
it's always
bro.
Fun up here.
My man. And Angela, thank you too for coming back on.
Thank you for having me.
Always.
Always a good time.
Yeah. Marcus, let's start with you, bro. Anyone or anything that you want to plug or shout out?
I want to shout out Body Bag Flex. He has Locust streaming on all platforms right now. Definitely a great vibe for a R&B hip hop type album. You want to vibe to something like that. So.
Ooh, bringing some R&B back, huh?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like the world needs a little of that R&B flavor. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. But what are your social media accounts, bro, in case any listeners want to get at you?
Facebook is my name, Marcus McCray. Instagram is Marcus _McCray. Try to keep it pretty simple.
No doubt. Angela, anything or anyone you want to plug or shout out?
No, just keep doing what you're doing.
All right. What are your social media accounts in case fans want to get at you?
Random Ange78 on Instagram.
Right on. And you guys could always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is Joshua Toth. Big shout out to Stellar Sound and Media and our editor, Jackson Wallace. Reminder, if you enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe to the show. That way you never miss an episode when they drop. And you can subscribe, follow on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and Google. Once again, if you support the show, please leave a review on the Apple Podcast page. If you're using Apple Podcasts to listen to the show, right at the bottom of the page, the review option is there. Please leave one. It helps the show out, helps me out, and I can see who's showing the love by leaving some reviews. So, all right, that's a wrap. Marcus, thanks again, bro.
Thank you.
Angela, thank you. All right, everyone, stay safe, stay kind, stay proud and powerful, and we'll see everyone soon. Peace.